Hello, everybody. Welcome to TELLI Talks, where we talk about life, growth, relationships, and all things in between. I have a very special artist with me today, Nat Star, a.k.a. Nat So Cold on the gram. Y'all don't know who he is? Bam.
What's happening? Appreciate you having me.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so for the people that don't know your journey, tell us about how you got to where you are today.
Well, I'm from North Carolina. I've been here now for like maybe 2.5 years.
Love the South.
Yeah, it's the South. That's home. Winston-Salem is where I was raised at. Lived in Charlotte, born in Durham. So like North Carolina is pretty much my home base. Moved out here in the pandemic. And I've been doing music
during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
That is crazy. How was that?
It was crazy. I was married at the time, and we ran a business together out where we were at, and things were just kind of crazy because I was going through some stuff at the time with another situation before that, and we just felt like we needed to get away, and we came out here just to visit, and we fell in love with the city, and we just decided, let's apply and see if we get in somewhere. Anything is better at the time than living where we were at. So I said, we applied, got accepted, and moved out here, and I'm still out here at least.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
What a journey.
Yeah. So I've been, and then once I moved out here, I pretty much just became all LA. I love it. I love it out here.
Yeah, it's a vibe. It's definitely like different from any Miami, New York, Atlanta.
It's cold in New York right now.
Yeah, I can't tolerate the cold. I used to live in Jersey, and it was just the whole shoveling, the whole snow, anything like snow is cool to like just
during
visit.
The season, right?
Yeah, just even visit, for fashion, love snow for fashion. Like, let me layer up and look cute in fashion.
Right.
But as far as like living in the snow, it's not my thing. Like,
I don't know the experience of living in the snow, but we get snow in North Carolina, and I know what it's like to shut down for a couple of days. I can't imagine how it's like constantly.
Yeah, like on vacation for Christmas just to see snow, skiing, snowboarding, that type of stuff. Cool. But other than that, that's it.
Right. Yeah.
That's it. I couldn't really tolerate or
sunny out here. It's cool now. Like it's like what in the 40s right now, something like that in the morning.
In the morning, yeah, probably like 40s, 50s. But then it's like maybe like 72.
Every day.
I love it. I mean, like I'm in a crop top and it's wintertime. So that lets you know the weather here right now. You could go chill in some, sweatpants, or you could just.
It's my everyday thing. I just throw on sweats and a hoodie and
it's a look. It's a look though. You know what I'm saying? So
for sure.
You moved to Cali during the pandemic and you, I'm sure, expected change.
Yeah.
And everything was shut down. Like, how was that?
It was interesting because when we moved, I already knew I was expecting like, okay, we were kind of shut down in North Carolina already, but it was a different kind of shutdown out here.
Right.
Like everything was shut down.
Everything was shut down.
So I already conditioned myself to understand like, I'm not moving to the hype right now. It's just everything is cool. I understand everything that LA comes with. So I'm chilling, and like I said, we ran a business at the time. So we were generating income. Everything's cool. I'm doing music. So obviously that's going. And, eventually when things started opening up, everything went up, a lot better at that point. And so it was cool, and it's just been going ever since.
So you're still doing your business?
No, actually, I'm not doing my business no more. That kind of went down with the relationship, unfortunately.
Oh, man.
But it is what it is. I'm a little bit more, I'm deeper, in my music, deeper in my career.
Absolutely. As long as you're happy, though. You happy?
Nah, for sure. I'm probably at more peace now because I'm, like when you obviously you run businesses. So, it's like when you're running businesses, it takes up a lot of your, like a lot of your time and it's cool. But me spending more time and giving more of my time and my energy and my effort into my career is doing more wonders to me than,
Absolutely. And you're passionate about it and you enjoy it. So that's a good thing.
Definitely.
110%. So North Carolina to LA, completely different world.
Absolutely.
When it opened up, what was the first thing that like you noticed that was like, okay, I could be here, I could live here, this is where I want to be?
I made good relationships. So, shout out to, a lot of my friends, my boy DJ Jamx, my boy Drama, my boy Smooth, a lot of people that I met when I got here that helped make it home.
Yes.
Because I'm obviously far away from all my family. Yeah. I don't really have family out here or anything, but, and even from moving out here to living through, I say 2021 and 2022. And then when the business went down and even when things separated with me and my wife at the time, those relationships helped kind of level me out to, to this being home. Great support system, even though it was only a handful of people.
That's how it should be though. Like you don't want too much people in your business or too much going on where you just like everybody know what's going on with you.
I wasn't like that back at home.
Right.
I've always kind of been the type to really have a small circle because I'm more about vibes. I like feeling people out. And if, I can determine easy, like, is this person for me or not? Or
what's your sign?
See my sign? Scorpio.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes sense, right?
Yeah, I feel like Scorpios, they maneuver a certain type of way before they go in all the way.
Definitely.
That definitely makes sense. I can see that. I could definitely see that. All right, you got a new album out. How was creating that album for you? Did you put a lot of like your own personal experiences into the album? Yeah. And why did you do it the way that you did it? And it released on your birthday.
It did.
Congratulations. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Belated, of course.
Thank you. This album was special because I met the producers. Shout out OG, Dosakis, and music therapists. They pretty much provided the soundtrack for me, but I sat on the tracks for a year.
Oh, wow.
So like I met them last July, I believe it was. So July 2021 here in Hollywood at a studio, probably like a block up the street.
Oh, wow.
And they came in there and they just started playing all of these tracks. And I was just like, everyone was the stank face. Like, where do you, what?
How'd y'all come up with that?
Yeah, I was just blown away. I had never heard nothing like that before. So I was like, y'all gotta put all these tracks in a folder for me, like a Google Drive or a Dropbox or something. And so like the next week they put everything in there, but I was working my business, right? So I think we got into like peak season that fall. So I was already working on another album that I dropped in, I think, October 2021. So I said, well, I can't touch these tracks right now because by the time I touch them, I want to make sure that I give it the proper attention. I don't want to just rush through them because I feel like this is $1 million, multi-million-dollar music. Right. I'm not just going to rush it. So I sat on those tracks from July 2021 all the way to 2022.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't start really writing to any of those songs until I think late July. And then I finished in October and I put it out in November. And the process was cool. I play keys too. So I add, my production on top.
That's dope.
And I just sat and I just took, like you said, all the experiences, everything that I was going through at the time. And I just put it all into my music, all of my thoughts, all of, my experiences at that time, how I'm feeling, what I feel about love or whatever the case is, and just brought it all together.
Absolutely. Yeah. And what made you come up with the title? Better with
Time?
Like, did you feel like you was going to get better with time or like your music was going to get better with time?
Both.
Like, okay.
Both. I feel like as time goes on, I mature more. My music matures more. Me coming to LA was a big deal for me because now I'm around the energy that matches what I want to, put out in my music and how I want to lead people and how I want to put my message out. And so, I consider myself a late bloomer. You know what I mean? I've been doing music for a while, but I'm still late in the game, still kind of, crawling my way into where I want to be musically. And so Better with Time signifies just like continue to get better, continue to progress. The more you do this, no matter how old you get, keep pushing and keep getting better, keep learning. you know.
Absolutely. Hey guys, this episode is sponsored by Fashion Nova. If you want an affordable matching set or any outfit that is amazing for night or day, make sure you shop fashionnova.com or visit them at Fashion Nova on Instagram. That's how I feel like everyone should grow.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
get better. You don't, I mean, who wants to get worse and who wants to deteriorate in life? I won't even be surprised. It's like, you know, some people are content, and it's very unfortunate when you get to a point in life where you're just content with where you're at and where you just don't want to grow or don't want to like progress. Cause I feel like every day in life you should want to progress. Like
absolutely.
We're humans. It's natural for us to want.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's, you know, I think it's Buddhism where, they have no desire. That's one of like things that they practice, like in Buddhism, where it's like, if you have no desire, you don't have to be, punished, like, or in pain because you're not wanting
anything. Yeah.
You know, you have everything that you need, whether that's a meal or whatever it is.
Right.
Like, what is it? To have no desire is to not suffer. So it's something along the lines of that's what they practice. And it makes sense because it's like, if you don't desire to have sex, or if you don't desire to have kids, or if you don't desire to have a job or whatever,
then you won't in that direction.
You won't be miserable, you know, but if it comes and it happens, accept it and take it.
For sure.
You know, so it's just a good way of practicing, like, you know, wanting and needing things in life.
Right.
So I think that it's hard as humans not to want.
It is hard. And the thing with that is like trying to practice that in a materialistic society is tough.
Yes.
It's very tough because, you know, I went through a period last year where I probably should have kept a lot of the money I spent. Yeah. You know, and I might have, absolutely. You know, but, you know, you learn from those things. And then I feel like, you know, in my case, I'm at a position where I can appreciate the Buddhism aspect more because I've had the opportunity to see the rise and the fall. Like, okay, I could want and want and want. You're going to keep wanting.
Absolutely.
You know, so focus more on the needs and focus more on like my goals, or focus more on like
things that matter.
Instead family.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Especially like with COVID, so many lives were lost.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
It was just a hard moment for the world. Like I never thought I would live in a time where I saw a pandemic. Like
me neither.
An epidemic, yes. Like flu season, yes. But COVID, like the world.
I was on my way to being a superhero. I was an action figure. I was in the gym every day, like for like 2 months straight, and then they shut the gym down. And then I got lazy and drank and smoked weed again.
I'm like, you didn't buy no gym equipment in the house?
I couldn't do it in the house.
Yeah, working out in the house is different than actually going to the gym. My whole thing is like, I got to have someone to work out with. So, and now I got all the equipment that I have has like trainers with it. So I'm like, don't feel like I'm working out by myself.
Right. That's dope.
You know, so that makes it easier for me because you just
won't feel like a chore.
Yeah. Or you feel like, all right, here's the motivation I need. Like, all right, I'm done with this workout. And then, you got one more in you. And you're like, damn, one more in you. Like, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like working out to me is not like it's not fun. Like some people like enjoy working out. Like to me it's a task. It's like, damn, I have a goal to make. So I have to do this. My metabolism is not what it was when I was 20 years old. I have to do this. Like I got kids. I got to do this. You know, like
my 9-year-old, I have a 9-year-old daughter, and she won't take, well, her and my 14-year-old. My 14-year-old is a little bit harder on me. My 9-year-old is like, I can't do no wrong. But the moment I start looking like I'm aging a little bit, my 14-year-old called me out like, Dad, you're getting kind of, you're gaining weight. And so she, shout out to my kids. I love them. And my 19-year-old too.
So you have 3.
I got 3 girls.
3, all girls.
All girls.
How is that?
It's great. I love them. I love them.
You don't want no boys?
Nah, I don't want no more kids. I think 3 is good.
3 is more than enough. Yeah. We got 8 and he want 4 more, and I'm just like,
8, you say?
Baby. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to go places. It's a lot to shop. You know, people be looking at me at the grocery store like, "What you getting all the food from Costco for?" And I'm like, "We got like."
Well, that's what Costco is for. It's
right.
Costco.
Like I ain't shopping for a store. I'm shopping for the house.
Exactly.
Like this is the house food.
Whew,
you know.
8. Lord bless you.
Yeah. So it's a lot, but it's fun. So it's a good time together. All of them have different personalities.
Right.
As you know, you got kids. So it's like it's almost like you see a piece of yourself in these kids, and you're just like, wow, like you know, that's what I do. Or it's like, damn, you shouldn't have done that, but I would have done that too.
Flip side to that too. Like my 19-year-old, she flipped that back on me at some point. I ain't gonna go into details. I love you, babe. But you know, that, like you said, she do stuff like, oh, that's me. Yeah. And then you're like, oh,
you can't be mad at me.
That's me.
Yeah.
Ew, okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah. Well, you can't really, it's almost like you want to get mad at them. But my favorite line is do better. Do better. Do better than me. And that's why you try to be the parent to have or make sure your kids have a better life than you live. Right. So don't do as I do as I say.
Right.
So
learn
that's
from
the
what
thing.
I did.
You are the child, no matter how old you are.
That's old school right there.
Yeah, we're from, my dad's from Alabama, so he's from the South too. And my man's from Alabama. So they're both from the South. We have, very traditional upbringings. Right. And from the 4-year-old to the 17-year-old, everybody's like, all right, we know to do better and not, do what we see, but do what we know. Right. They know the difference. Yeah. 110%.
Absolutely. I looked up to my father the same way.
And they don't play.
They do not. Not especially from the South.
Yes, ma'am. No, sir. All of that.
Sticks off the tree, the switches.
Yep. And you get to pick sometimes too.
Don't act up.
Nowadays, like I feel like the upbringing back then in comparison to the upbringing nowadays, completely different. Like you have kids that are just, we're technical now. Right. So it's like you have access to internet and you have access to, this kid's acting up. Let me see how much I could push my parents. And you can't whoop your kids now. You cannot whoop your kids. You putting them in timeout and they still want to act wrong. And you're just like, it's different. What is going on? It's different. This is nuts.
It's different. And like you said, they got access to everything. So, I remember, in my era growing up, they could monitor everything. Absolutely. Like if they didn't want us to listen to a certain record, they could just take the CDs away. Right. Or they could take the TV away.
Right. You can't just Google it and just download it for free.
You had nothing. But your kid can have a phone and they can see, hear.
iPads, phones.
Everything.
MacBooks.
Anything.
And tablets, Kindles, like they got all types of this generation today can learn. My 4-year-old knows what caviar is. Wow. At 4.
Did the research.
Like she knows what caviar is. She eats sushi. She knows how to use chopsticks. She's 4.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, girl, you're expensive at 4 years old. Like, I'm like, what am I going to do with you when you're 16 or 15 or 13 or like, you're going to be like, Mom, I want a plane. And I'm going to be like, girl, you better ask your dad. Right.
Like, girl, what kind of job you going to get to pay for that, for the fuel?
Right. I told her, I said, girl, do you know how much a tin of caviar costs? I told her at least $360. She going to tell me, that's like $1 to me. I said, girl. Oof. Who you got a job? You got a job.
She a hustler. She already knows.
She told me, and this is the access of what you're talking about, right? Yeah. Like obviously my podcast is very raw. Right. One day I came home and she's like, "Hi Mom, you're back from TELLI Talks." And I was like, "Oh, how you know about TELLI Talks?" Wow. "Oh, I saw you on YouTube." And I'm just like, okay, there's a kids YouTube and there's a regular YouTube.
They're not going to kids YouTube.
No. And they're 4. That too. I was like, wait, how? I mean, they can access it. They know their passwords. They know how to like use a phone, put stuff in. And I'm like, this is insane.
I tried that too. That YouTube kids, they don't last that long on that. They eventually delete that, go right to the YouTube. Yep. My kids, I was just on the phone with my younger 2 on FaceTime and we were just watching your old videos, Dad. It's like, which one? Right.
And they have access to literally everything.
Everything.
And you just don't know what they're learning because there's no possible way you can monitor any kid 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Right. It has its advantages and it has its disadvantages. The advantages is obviously your 4-year-old knows what caviar is. Like she can educate herself on whatever and how much. The disadvantage is the information that's not good for them. They're not old enough to know how to process it.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
if they're seeing, like, we could watch a movie and we know how to process it because we're mature enough to know how to
and we've been through it, the wisdom behind it.
Right.
We're
or whatever
older.
the case is, you know, they might it might traumatize them. Like they might see something, you know, so their brains didn't fully develop enough to understand the differences.
Right. And they're not going to ask because they know it's bad.
Exactly. So what do they'll store it. They might have nightmares about it. You know what I mean?
110%.
It's in their psyche now. So like, and if they don't mention it to you or a parent or anybody, then that sits with them, you know? So that's the dangerous side of kids having that much access.
But it's like, how as a parent are you able to control that? Because it's like, okay, you take the iPad away, you take the phone away, then they have no access to you, then they have no access to their work, then they have, you know, no access to school or whatever it is. And you're just like, what do I do?
I think you can't control it. That's number one. Because even if you take their phone away, their best friend got a phone.
Right.
So if they're at school, let me get your phone real quick to just do the same thing I was going to do with my phone until I get my phone back.
And even with TV, like it's just so broad and open, and there's no type of modesty or tradition or secrecy or like, let's wait until you get 18 or let's wait until you get 16. It's like, no, these kids are knowing at like 4 or 5 years old what you would know at 16, 15, 21 even. 30. You know, there's things that like, shit, I didn't taste caviar at 4 years old, 3 years old. Like, you know, like I'm just being real. Like, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't no platinum diamond medallion member at 3, 4 years old. Like these kids are growing up fast.
Yeah.
Too fast.
I think the thing, I'm not going to say it's a solution, but the compromise for me is to be a little bit more transparent than my parents ever were. Right. Absolutely. Like my parents, as much as I love my dad and you know, my mom, I was kind of kept in a kid box. Right. But I feel like if kids have access to all of this information and all of this media, be open to them because they'll feel open enough to share with you then what's inside of them. I noticed, like I started noticing that with my 19-year-old. Like I opened up and allowed her to know who I was, as opposed to saying I'm just your dad and you just do what I say. That was the previous generation's method and mentality. But you can't do that now because you want to be still obviously like a parent, but somewhat of a friend so that they can open up. Because I mean, you hear it all the time. These kids committing suicide because they don't know how to process bullying. You know, they're going to school, they're being cyberbullied and stuff like that. They don't want to tell you because they're ashamed. They're embarrassed about it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think the best thing, and this is in my opinion, I think the best thing to do is just to be more transparent, you know, with kids, so that when they experience some of this stuff, they'll like feel comfortable of pulling it up around you and watching some of this stuff and then getting your reaction. They'll respect that because it's like, okay, I'm open enough to let my dad or my mom know this is what I'm exposed to. And they're giving me enough permission, you know, to be honest about that and to have a conversation about it. Absolutely. So that's what I think.
And I feel like too, that's a great way to parent, especially with the modern day generation and what kids see and how they move and what's out here in these streets. Yeah. You have to talk to your kids. Like it's mandatory because we're not with our kids 24/7. Like, you know, and it's whatever they learn in school, whatever they learn after school, whatever they learn on dinners or with their friends or dating or whatever, you cannot monitor that all the time. No. Like, you know, you could sit there and, you know, go to dinner or back in the day, you know, like, let's say, for example, when my parents were dating, My dad, a black man,
Mm-hmm.
was with my mom, an Asian woman,
Mm-hmm.
and my grandfather would like go and see what they doing, or like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
Pop up
now,
on.
yeah, like nowadays you can't do that because there's
It's
so
funny,
many
nowadays-
places they can go and they can leave and they can move, and you know what I'm saying?
Nowadays you don't have to, because they're gonna show you. They're gonna put it on their stories.
Mm-hmm.
They're
You
gonna
don't have
post
to
their
go
meals,
nowhere.
right?
Right. You don't have to go nowhere. You could get their location on their phone.
On their phones, right?
You know where they're going. You know,
You
like
see
literally
what they're eating because they put it on their stories.
It's just
Yeah.
a whole different lifestyle. I can't even imagine if it was somebody like, you know, that was locked up and then they're locked up for like 20 years and they come back out and they're
right
like,
now.
What is going on?
They
like
got phones in jail now, though.
I'm telling you, like
It's
they
crazy.
got access too.
Yeah, they got more access than they used to.
It is insane.
It's crazy.
So relationships, I know you said that you're not in, well, I wouldn't say you're not in one now. You're previously married.
Mhm.
Are you looking for a spouse? Are you in a relationship now? Are you just chilling in a relationship
chilling.
with work and, you know,
I'm
just
just
focus
chilling
on
right now.
music?
Right now, I'm just chilling. I'm, you know, like I said, coming out of a relationship. I'm a little bit more, not a little bit, a lot more obviously focused on my music. I'm just in a position where I'm like, I'm gonna just kind of do me. And then if a situation come along, I'm not closed. I don't close my heart up because I don't believe, you know, God will smile at that. You know what I mean? So I'm always open for something that's organic.
Right.
And it's just gotta feel right and just kind of be the right situation. But if it's not, then, you know, it's just me. God got me, so I'm good.
Right. Amen
You know?
to that. I ain't mad at that. What else do you have upcoming that you want to push out? You know, I feel like we talked a lot, and I love that because you know, I feel like all podcasts and shows and things discuss more so of your music and what you have going on as far as music, but for people to know you as a father and as a person, I think that's super dope.
You know, I think that's the good thing about media today. Is like it gives people like myself or like yourself an opportunity to just for people to get to know who you are and not just label you like, oh, that's Deontay's wife. No, she's boom. She does this, she does that. She's well versed in this, or oh, he's just a rapper. Right. No, he does that. You know, he's also, you know, he speaks, he talks about these issues. So
absolutely,
I appreciate, you know, the internet for opening that up to where people can really follow you as a person as opposed to just labeling you something.
Yes.
You know?
And the fact is too, like we have these social media things as a platform for us to showcase what we want to showcase, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's all that there is to us as a person.
Right.
You know, like even with Deontay, I tell people all the time, like people just see this aggressive person because that's what they know. He's a boxer, but outside of that, he's a father. He's funny. You know, he has other characteristics in him as a human than what he does as an occupation. And that's kind of why I did this podcast, because I didn't want to just talk to people about their careers. Like we could touch on it because that's what's out there.
That's just a part of it.
But it's like, who are you as a person? Who are you as a father? Who are you as an individual? What are your views on life and your perspective and what things that you like, or how are you in a relationship, so forth and so on. So I like that you emphasize
for sure
on fatherhood and relationships and businesses and all of that.
It's just,
type of
you know,
stuff.
naturally who I am, you know. If you know you're a parent, so you know that's just you wake up a parent. You absolutely you breathe a parent. You're just a parent.
I literally told my son when he was old enough to understand, he's 16 now, I was like, I stopped living for myself when you were born. So it's like I no longer live for me. I live for you to make sure you have a better life, a better upbringing, a better whatever it is. Better things, better situations, better schools, better whatever, you know, like better than what, I mean, I didn't live hard growing up, but it's still better for him, you know,
and then
like
you want him to be able
do
to
better
do the
for
same
exactly
thing.
And just keep that instilled in your head that you want better for your kids and better for their kids and their kids and their kids, and just keep growing and just not be comfortable and stagnant. And that's my only like fear is to have your kids just be comfortable. You know, regardless of what they have, what they're doing, like don't ever be comfortable, because once you're comfortable, there's no growth.
I call it the flat line. You know, just like with the heart monitor.
Yeah, you're just living to live. You're not living for purpose.
Right. And always educate yourself. Like strive to learn more. I try to read, you know, at least 30 minutes a day if I can. I try to, you know, do research on great people.
So what do you typically like normally read about when you do read?
Anything that's motivational, anything, because, you know, my ticker is go, you know, so my ticker is get up, make it happen.
Right. So
like I'll read like, I forgot what's the name of that book? The 50 Law, is it the 50 of Law? It's 50 Cent's book that was written by the guy that wrote 48 Laws of Power. Oh
wow!
I forgot his name, but stuff like that where he was narrating like spending time with 50 Cent and different attributes that he had and how, you know, he started when he was, you know, in where is he from? What part of New York is he from? I'm gonna get slammed for this. But I'll just say New York, and how he persevered through his rough moments and how he took his situation to where the label he was signed to wasn't pushing him, how he had to go around that and make his own moves. And he was detailing a lot of that stuff and the stuff like it speaks to me because I've dealt with, like I'm independent right now. And growing up, I've dealt with a lot of situations where labels kind of just looked at me crazy. Or they heard my music, but they didn't really give me the time of day. So I'm looking for stories from people, you know, like Jay-Z before Jay-Z became Jay-Z. No label signed Jay-Z. Okay, well, how did he persevere through that? Absolutely. Yeah, what was his mindset? What were the steps that he took to overcome all of that, rejection? Right. You know, it's like, oh, here's what I went through. Kanye, yay. Kanye, same thing, like his story, his early story. Right. So like I try to read articles on people, read books, you know, stuff like that just help me and help remind me to just keep going because you know how it is. It's, especially out here, the city will eat you up, swallow you, spit you out. If you let it, if you don't have the drive, or if you're not really truly committed to it, then, you know.
So what would you tell someone coming from a different city, state, country, if they moved to LA? Like, what would be 3 things that you would kind of prepare them to move out here?
First, don't get caught up. Don't get caught up.
Most important.
Like that's number one. Don't get caught up. Half of it's not real. You know, people are gonna kind of try to step on you to get to the next. So just come out here with a plan. Come out here with a purpose. If you come out, you know, understand that, you know, you're living in the biggest media city maybe of the world. So you're probably, you know, your hustle game gotta be crazy. You know, you gotta be willing to get up and do it because it ain't, you know, you from New Jersey, but you still have Southern roots. So, you know, like the word out in the South or the word out East is, oh, LA is expensive. Yeah. That's the first thing they say. Oh, LA is expensive. So if you have that mindset, then you know, it's going to be harder. But if you just say, you know what, I'm just going to do what I do. Right. Then keep it pushing.
And I also feel like expensive is something that you make. So it's like, expensive is a level of personal. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause there's people that will spend, you know, something that's expensive. Like, let's say I'll spend something that's expensive on my shoes, you know, but then I won't spend something that would be considered an expensive dinner. Right. But it's like you spend stuff on what you prefer. Right. So I feel like if you want to have an expensive house, then that's your preference.
That's your preference, but you just better work hard enough to pay for it every month.
110%.
And that's my mindset. Like I know people that I consider cheap, and I'm like, well, cheap comes with a price.
Right.
You know, and here, if you're cheap, you might not live in the safest neighborhood. And I wouldn't advise anybody to move to LA and be cheap and move into an unsafe neighborhood.
Yeah, 110%. Absolutely.
If you're going to do that, stay home.
Yeah, absolutely. 110%. I agree.
For real.
So everyone that comes on,
yeah,
we play this game so people could get to know you outside of social media.
Cool.
Bad choices, game of Have You Ever, and pick your poison. Would you rather? So bad choices is a game of like, you pick a card, there's a question on the card, and you have to answer that question on the card.
Okay.
Pick your poison gives you 2 cards that you read this card or that card, and you have to pick either this poison or that poison.
All right.
So 2 both toxic games.
Let's do it.
One more extremer than the other, but I play with you. So rules of the game.
Let's go.
You can give your explanation. You can't remix the question. And you have to pick either or. You can't say both.
You got me with the remix because I'll twist the question in a minute. Okay, cool. I'm ready.
Got it? Okay, which one do you want to do?
Bad choices.
Okay. This one's the easier one.
All right, cool.
All right, I'm playing with you.
I should have done a pick the poison there.
We could do that. We could do both, whatever. If you're not filling these cards, you could pick, let's say, 3 cards.
All right, I got it.
Okay.
Oh, so it's kind of like Uno. Okay.
No, yeah, it's just the draw cards.
Okay, so I got to draw 2 more.
Yeah, you don't. We're just asking each other questions. Gotcha. We're not regular. Like I think you play with more people, so it's we're just asking.
All right.
Do you prefer to be on top during sex?
I don't care. It don't matter to me. As long as we doing that shit.
All right, it's on you.
Oh, all right, bet.
So we're just gonna go every other.
This one's funny. Have you ever said I love you too early?
Yes. Too early, but I felt like I felt it. So I felt like it meant. If you say it meant. Yeah. If I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna mean it. Mm-hmm. So it might have been too early for others, but for me, it was like I felt it at that time.
Yeah, that's a funny one, but not for sure.
Have you ever lied to leave in the middle of a date?
Damn, have I? I probably wanted to a few times. Let me think. In the middle of a date? Like out?
Yeah, just out. If you're out with somebody and you're like, damn, I gotta go.
Like in the middle of thinking I was about to smash something and I left.
So yes.
Okay, yeah. I've done that. I made an excuse, made a fake phone call and dipped out.
Why? Because you just wasn't feeling it?
I wasn't feeling it.
I think that's better than just have something under your belt that you didn't want.
Nah. Attitude turns me off. Like if you doing the most, you shut me down immediately. So I dipped up out of there.
Did she feel like you were leaving because you was turned off, or you just like I actually really got to go somewhere? Like did you?
I probably sold it. Yeah, I sold it enough to where she believed
like
it.
She wasn't
for sure.
hurt from it.
Nah. Because I'm going. Oh man, word. Like I'm embellished. I'm putting on a whole
award performance.
Yeah, I stepped. Hold on, let me step out for a second and come back in like 2 minutes later. Like, man, I got a different this, that, and
right.
I'm selling the whole story for sure.
At least he's nice about it, so I'll give you that.
Nice and lying, but I'm nice
and lying. But I'd rather nice and lying than be like, all right, you turning me off. I gotta go. But you're just like, damn, that's like an ego.
I've kind of done that, but in a different way. I didn't necessarily like say those words, but like it was a situation where like I got into it with somebody. Like we went, like her it's just a different situation. Her attitude was like terrible. Mm-hmm. And we was just, we was chilling at the time, but like we started getting into an argument and it's like, I'm not about to sit around. You're not going to disrespect me.
Right.
You tripping right now.
Right.
Somebody, and usually in that situation, somebody who's used to men just falling all over them. And I'm like, nah.
You get that a lot here though, especially here.
I ain't the one. Not me.
I'm not mad at it.
All right. Have you ever had sex with someone within an hour of meeting them?
Oh, nah.
I don't think
You
I
gotta
have
like
either. That's a
feed.
lot.
You gotta
An
feed
hour?
my soul, my mind. Like I have to be more than just like physically attracted to somebody. Because
Yeah.
obviously you're not gonna go up to someone that you're not attracted to be like, hey, yeah, I want to have sex. Like, I find you not attractive.
Right.
Let me entertain this conversation. It just does not happen.
That's a weird question because I don't think I've ever had. That's never happened to me. An hour?
That's a quick amount of time.
Unless you.
That's like I was watching this show on Netflix and there was this guy on the show and he was just like on this app and it's like he just meets people and has sex with them and I'm just like,
I think I know what show you're talking about.
I would not be able to do this.
I think I've seen that show.
It's just like how, you know what I'm saying? So
that's a thing.
It is what it is.
That's
to each his own, I guess. Could you save the lives of 365 children by giving up? I don't think that's by giving up sex
for a year.
For a year,
I'm gonna save 365 children.
Yes.
In reality, I'm gonna save a whole lot more kids, but that's a metaphor. Yes, I would do that.
Okay. I think that's not as bad as like just not doing it forever.
Yeah,
and knowing the purpose of why you're doing it, I just feel like it's more easier to answer than to just be like, oh yeah, nah.
Nat love the kids, man.
I love it. You want to try to pick your poison?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. This one's a little bit more, I guess you could say X-rated. I don't even gonna say PG-13 because this one is
we grown.
A lot going on this one where it causes debate.
Right.
Or don't judge me for answering. Y'all know how these questions are.
Mom, I saw you on Pick Your Poison.
Right.
You're not supposed to
I'm gonna
watch
start.
that.
You know what? There has to be like a button on YouTube that you can mute like certain things.
I'll say this. There are certain websites that you shouldn't be able to just type in and .com and anybody can see it. I'm not going to say what those websites are.
Anybody can see what?
Between the lines, there are certain websites that, let's just say, people are addicted to that kids can just go type in. If they know them type, it's not like there's not like a warning. Nothing.
Put a code in.
Nothing. It just pops right up. Everything.
Oh, wow.
Yes, it's terrible. They need to do something about that.
Yeah, there has to be some type of whoever digital programmer out there in the world. They need the internet police. Where they really do. Like they need like an internet police for real. 110% internet police. But it's so crazy because nowadays, even if you have these like parental advisories, like let's say if it's like, oh, if you're a parent, type in the answer to this question and it could be like 5 times 2.
Right.
Like, it's like, come on now.
Or they just get your password or something like that.
Yeah. Something like so simple. And it has to be like a double access to where it goes to your email, like some type of authentication. Where you could just, monitor the things that you need to monitor. Cause this is like, it's out of control.
It is out of control. It really is. It really is.
Like these kids should not be knowing what they know at this young age. Or having their mind like manipulated into something that they should learn later on. No,
it's bad. I agree.
Okay, you ready for these?
Yeah.
So these ones, we're pulling out 2 cards and asking this card or the next.
So reading both of them?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, I'll start. Develop a massive cold sore in your mouth every Monday, or crawl 200 meters through a sewer filled with human waste.
Man, just get me the Abreva and I'm good.
Not the Abreva. Every Monday though?
I'm not going through
That's tough.
Because I don't think I'm going to make it. I don't know if I'm going to make it through that 200. You said 200 meters?
200 meters.
How far?
That's pretty damn deep. Like, what is it? 2 or is 3 meters to a foot? 3 meters to a foot?
3 meters to a foot.
So 200 meters is equivalent to what? Like 200 divided by 3.
I know 210 divided by 3 is 70. So somewhere around 60 something.
Feet.
Yeah. So 60.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Nah, I don't think I could do that.
That's a lot.
I don't know if I could do that. Ugh.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, just prescribe me some kind of medication to monitor that thing, and we good.
Hilarious.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Oh, this is terrible. Have a friend or family member die every year on your birthday.
Ooh.
Or poop next to every dog you see pooping. Proceed to yell at the dog owner for not picking up.
For not picking up your poop? Dang. Okay. So what was the first one? Not picking up the poo, and you're pooing every time you see a dog poo.
Yeah. And have a friend or a family member die every year on your birthday.
I'm gonna have to do the poo
Yeah,
because I can't do no people every year. Your birthday is no longer a celebration.
Oh, yeah, no.
It's a depression. Like, I don't want my birthday to happen every year.
I lost a lot of family members to cancer, so I would hate to relive that feeling every year on my birthday.
No.
You know,
like I don't even like when family members pass. You know, where it's almost like there's no control.
My mother and my father both passed away.
Oh, from cancer?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yep.
So sorry to hear that. I wouldn't even know what to do. Like, my dad is like, I love my dad. I love my mom.
Mm-hmm.
I had like 7 people pass during COVID last year, like in 1 year, family members. Like, it was like back to back.
Was it from COVID?
One was from COVID. So my cousin got shot in front of my uncle's club. And then my other cousin was like best friends with the cousin got shot. He ended up committing suicide.
Oh, man.
My cousin that committed suicide, his mom went to his funeral, caught COVID, then pneumonia, passed 2 weeks later.
Jeez.
So it was like back to back. It was bad. Like I couldn't even. It was a lot.
Man, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's COVID and like people passing in general, especially when they're close to you, is just like a hard battle to deal with.
It was tough with my dad because so he passed away about 10 years ago in June. And he was healthy for pretty much his entire life until he got sick. And then a couple months later, he was gone.
That's crazy.
It just happened that fast.
And nobody, like, you don't know how or
it started with lymphoma, and then it just spread rapidly, and it became was it leukemia? Was it leukemia? Yeah, it became leukemia. And then once he did his treatment, I think he caught pneumonia.
Oh,
because of when the radiation wipes you out. And I think he caught pneumonia. They rushed him to the ER and put him on a breathing machine, and that was it.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to hear that. I couldn't even imagine. Like,
I didn't never think that day was gonna come. I was actually surprised at how calm I was during that time, because for me, my dad was a big name in not only the family but in the community, and so a lot of people were just thrown off and fucked up by it. It was like, wow. And I was the only person that felt like I could take on his personality. So I felt like at that time, especially during the funeral, it was like everybody's distraught. Everybody's just, sad and hurt. And I felt like I had to be the one to embody his personality. So I put all of that aside, and I was just kind of joyous, which was weird during the funeral, because as people are walking around, they're looking at me and I'm giving them daps and smiling and laughing and cracking jokes.
Maybe it's almost like that's what he wanted.
That's
you
what
to
I felt like he wanted me to do.
Living through you at that moment,
because nobody else was going to do it.
Right.
His main thing was to be joyous.
Right.
And to give out, to be a light, so it's like, if if we're celebrating him, not necessarily celebrating his death, but like his homegoing, then give a piece of who he was. And I felt like I was the one that was able to do that.
Yeah. And I honestly do feel like funerals, we look at funerals as something that's depressing and like, you know, devastating and hurtful, which it is.
Right.
But to have more so, I feel like obviously a funeral is something that you have to have, but we need to have more celebrations of life.
Absolutely.
Instead of like a funeral or redefine the meaning of funerals.
Totally
and
agree.
just make it so it's like, hey, this person was pleasant in life, so let's have a pleasant moment, because you know they wouldn't want us crying or sad or unhappy because they're in a better place and they're not suffering anymore. And that's just, you know, like what I feel.
The sadness comes from the expectations. I think if we understand and if we really have an honest conversation with ourselves and understand that the expectations of everyone's lives eventually is to die.
Absolutely.
Then we could take those steps into changing the narrative of what the funeral is like. Cause it's like, he might've died before we wanted him to, or before we wanted her to, but this was their story. Let's celebrate the body of work at this point.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Let's not be sad, because that's not going to bring them back.
Absolutely. And he wouldn't want, or she wouldn't want you to be sad.
Right.
You know, so it's like, you know, like it's almost like, why everybody crying? We're still here.
I want people playing my music, you know, during my, you know, like kind of like what with Nipsey, like it was
it's a celebration.
A celebration, like, you know.
Yeah.
So.
And that's what it should be, like a celebration of their life. And it's almost like a eulogy, but it doesn't have to be like this person was this, you know, but it's just like, no, this person lived their life happy. This person lived their life helping people or whatever it was that they were doing. Like just spread that instead of just like everybody there just like crying and like, you know, you can't control it because it's human nature.
Right, of course.
But it would just, I think they would just be more of a celebration and more happiness if people was to be like, all right, we having this party, we having DJ, we you know, like we doing it up.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like we
Did
not
you see
having this depression.
Clip where the guy, they brought his body to the club?
What?
So this guy died, right? And somebody somehow, first of all, it was the creepiest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Who does that?
They dressed him up like he had on his Emiris. He probably, you know, had on like a Givenchy shirt. Like, no, for real. His jewelry, the whole nine. And
open casket.
No, they propped his body up. He was
in the club?
In the club.
Where
on
was
stage.
This?
I'm going to try to find.
It's on Instagram?
It was on Instagram when I saw it. If I can find it, I'll send it to you so you can see it. It's
That is insane.
Yeah.
They propped his body. So they propped his body
up.
Like that's not
like
even
he was
funny,
standing
but it's
up.
like, what?
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to envision him standing up.
And he's literally
in
not
his
there.
outfit.
And
I
think he had on a fitted hat and everything.
What?
Yeah.
Nah.
For real.
That is insane.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to find it.
That's what he wanted to do. Like he
I
wanted
don't
to
know
die
if
in
that's
the club.
what he wanted to do, but his family or his friends or somebody was like, "This is what we gonna do.
We gonna let you go out one last party."
And it was a club. It was in a regular club, and he was on stage, and the host was like celebrating his life while his body, was just sitting up there stiff.
That is insane.
It was kind of sick.
I'm all for celebration of life.
But that's ridiculous.
But don't bring my body to the club. Don't bring my body
Cremate
out.
Me. I
honestly feel like I would rather be cremated and like give pieces of my ashes to my kids, my man, throw it in the ocean, spread my, my energy, whatever it is.
I probably would say spread my ashes off the coast of West Africa.
I love that.
Senegal.
I love that.
But because we're so caught up in what we see. That's done when somebody when that body's gone.
I don't want like my body to be in one place, like because I have family everywhere. So I would rather I don't know, whoever's alive at the time to
Yeah.
like collect my ashes, whether that be my husband, my brother, my dad, whoever,
Right.
to collect my ashes and like distribute them to like the people that matter the most to me in life. And they wear a locket or whatever
Mhm.
the case is
Right.
with a piece of me. So I'm with them every time,
Right.
as opposed to like being buried,
And yeah,
I don't know, in
and
Alabama or in
and paying thousands
wherever.
of dollars for,
And then they have to fly to come see me and visit me. And then
Mhm.
just knowing I'm underground and people passing and stepping under, like,
It's crazy.
nah, like I'm cool.
It's crazy.
I'm cool. I don't even like the fact of being like in a casket,
right.
underground. Like, nah, I'd rather cremate me. It's cheaper,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you guys get to keep a piece of me, or someone, you go put it in the house somewhere,
Right,
you know,
right.
whatever the case
But you
is.
can, like you said, you could take me with you.
Yeah, you can
in a
have a
different
piece
form.
of me, you know, what I put it in a watch. I don't know.
I
like,
totally agree.
you know, so I feel like that's more logical in my eyes.
For sure. For sure. I agree.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
Be unable to sleep with someone until you drink a glass of their urine, or train daily with the judge until you can put your whole fist in their anus.
Well, I guess I'm R. Kelly today.
Those are two completely different, like,
Yeah, that's
why would you train? Well, like, who made up this card? Like, this is just train with a judge.
With that's the
A
most
judge.
random.
Like, you can't train with, like, I don't know, maybe a porn star, someone that actually does that, or like
Whoa.
a judge.
Hey, all you had to say was the last two, and I was like, "Oh, you know what?
Like the whole fist.
I have to chase it. I'll chase it with some cranberry juice or something like."
At least detox it. I don't know.
All right, let's
right,
see what we
Sonya.
got. Oh Lord. Go down on someone with uncontrollable gas,
Oh hell.
or
no.
introduce your most recent ex to every new significant other you date. Oh, that's easy.
I'm doing the X. I'm
Yeah, that's
sorry.
easy.
Like there is no way I'm even gonna want to stay down there
With
if I'm it. Nah, bro. You're gonna have to get back in the shower.
Yeah,
Like
that's
what?
crazy.
What? Nah.
That's crazy.
Like I would just be like, bye. I wouldn't even want to. Like it wouldn't even be no other time. Like you know what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
Like uncontrollable gas every time.
Yeah, no, because everything is
like
a part
we
of the
gonna have to
experience.
find another way. Like it just gonna have to
Or
be
it just ain't gonna happen if you can't control that.
uncontrollable. And like I'm okay. There's gas that doesn't smell, right? But just
If it's a guy, it probably smells.
but just like the air in your face and
Yeah.
you right there.
If it's a guy,
Nah.
it probably smells.
Like nah.
Yeah, it probably. If it's a guy.
Like it is
Yeah.
no, absolutely not. All right, let's do one more.
All right, cool.
No, I just did this one earlier. Okay, that one's
They are random, I swear. Like
yeah, so random. I did this one earlier. Okay. Okay. Have sex with your most attractive cousin, or call everyone you've ever slept with and tell them you have HIV.
Eesh. Now I'm about to smash old cuz. Hey, don't tell nobody.
Oh my gosh. That is tough.
Don't say
That
nothing
is
else.
tough.
Just don't tell nobody.
That is tough. I would tell everyone I have HIV, but then tell them like I really don't. I just gotta tell you I got HIV.
Oh, see why didn't I get more see, I thought I took it at face value. See, you got creative. Damn. You got me.
I would really explain as to why. Like, you know,
I just don't want the reaction. That's all.
Yeah.
Wait, did you say everybody I slept with?
everyone you slept with?
I don't know if I can make that many phone calls.
Yeah,
So I would
like,
have to,
hey,
I don't got everybody's number. Sorry.
I'll be like, hey, I gotta tell you something, but I don't know, maybe the next
or it'd
day.
be like, but it was after you. I was just letting you know.
Oh, it was after
yeah.
you. That's pretty bad though.
I already know which one of these you're gonna pick. Drink a pint of someone else's vomit or die alone.
Oh. I mean, I would die alone. I used to work. It's hard though. Like I used to work in the hospital in the ER, and it was a Schedule 1 trauma center. And there would be people there that like you would call their relatives and nobody would like show up for them at all.
Wow.
And I would feel bad, and knowing they're like on their last breath, like I literally would stay with them and just like hold their hand and be like, you're going to a better place. So I just feel like dying alone is so hard and like unfortunate, especially when you have people that can come and then like choose not to, and it's just like, damn. Now it just makes you want to die quicker because nobody's even there with you and for you.
Wow.
But
that's a good point.
Other situation is just like,
I couldn't do it.
Nah, like like we're gonna die anyway.
Right.
So I feel like if there's a situation where I have no choice but to die alone, it's gonna happen eventually anyway. Exactly. So I might as well die alone than to do that. Yeah, it's just not going down.
It's literally.
Literally, right? I'm not doing it. Nah. Sorry. Not sorry. Dead me off. Do what I gotta do. And make sure you cremate me and get my ashes away. Thank you.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yep.
So tell everybody where they can find you and all the things that you got coming up, all that good stuff.
On streaming platforms, you can find me. Just type Nat Star, NATSTAR. My latest album, Better With Time. Check that out. And on social media, Nat So Cold. Pretty much on all platforms.
Yes. So make sure y'all get his new album out. Just came out a month ago.
Yep.
So tune into that. I'm gonna redo that whole part. Make sure you guys get his new album. It just came out a month ago. So new hits available for all access.
For sure.
And tune into all things he has going on Instagram, Nat So Cold. And that is it for Telly Talks.
Appreciate it.